It'd be a whole lot safer, that's for sure, for everybody. Us, citizens, I mean, everybody.
I don't even know, I don't know where you would start. I really don't. There's so much vacant stuff out there, I just don't think.
I would think that we should try to save the neighborhoods first. The industrial areas, we should try to develop them. You know, if we could possibly give them to large corporations and let them develop their own land, you know, get rid of the properties themselves, which I don't know if that's feasible either, because that would cost a lot of money to get rid of the Packard plant. You know, is a business going to want to buy that Packard plant and do all the reconstruction, demolition, and everything like that? But the neighborhoods where people live, you know, one burned out shell, you know, has a stigma where, you know, if they just got rid of that house and it was a vacant lot, I think it would help the neighborhood rather than have that sit there for 5 or 6 years. It would be cheaper to do that one house. You might be able to do 50 houses rather than one large commercial building. You know, and I'm not saying, you know, what the priorities are. I don't know even know what they are. You know, I would say that the squeaky wheel will get greased, and if there's someone that's constantly calling the neighborhood city hall or downtown, the mayor's office, complaining about a certain house, they might get more attention than if someone like lives on a block with 14 burned out houses, you know, and they're not saying a thing because that's the norm. It's been like that for 10 years and nothing's ever got done, so why should they even call?
No one's been accountable and everyone blames everyone else.
Last 5 or 6 decades, we've been fighting arson, we've been convicting arsonists, getting warrants, but does it ever deter them? You know, is there enough deterrent? You know, it doesn't seem to be.
And I guess everything helps. Every little idea or deterrent helps, but I don't think we got a handle on this at all.
No, the city's it. Comes to the city. If they don't.
Listen, let me explain something to you. There is no deterrent policy, all right? Because if there was, you couldn't be starting all those fires because those houses would not be empty. You're not going to sit here and try to tell me that in this world that has so many people with such a high need for housing that you're going to try to show me some type of actual natural occurrence that can make people be homeless and houses be empty. That is nothing but business. It's big business. So don't tell me nothing about no damn deterrent. Because if it was a deterrent, there never would have been no 500 years of slavery to us melanated people. And the fact that this act right now is synonymous with us melanated people, you know that all it is profiteering and corrupt business practices of the corporations who's always utilize oppression to make a profit. So don't give me none of your deterrent bullshit. You could deter it if you wanted to. No one wants to deter it because the people who own the fire department and the people who own the hospitals and the people who own the police department are the people who made money off slavery to be the person that own all of these civil organizations that should be owned by the citizens, not rich, greedy, fascist corporations.
Do it for us. It's not going to get done. We can't apply for grants as firefighters to access money to tear down homes. The city can, and they don't. Or if they do, it's just not finding its way out to us. And this is an issue that when we took this job, we knew there were dangers in it. But we tried to, through training, through experience, through common sense, through whatever we use, we tried to stay as safe as possible. There are people on the other end of the stick, people on the end of the stick that run the city, that run the government, that are not doing what they should do. There are people on the council who don't feel it's important enough to divert money to tear down these homes. There are people on the council who do. We have people there who totally understand the plight that we're in and are fighting for us try to get that money out to us. And again, there are people on the council who are doing everything they can not to make that happen, to make the money go to different areas that they feel is more important.
You know, they don't know who owns these places. The records are, but you know what? It's not rocket science, and there are other cities, Atlanta, Memphis, Cleveland, like I said, Chicago and Toronto, that are already doing it, and it works. With finding delinquent property, and if you know what, you give it up, well then, and I forget the numbers. They say, well, in the city of Detroit, we have 70,000 possible vacant houses.
What happens most of the time that I see is that it's neighborhood groups, neighborhood actual watch groups that would take it upon themselves to spend their own money to board up these unsecured vacant homes. I've seen that a lot, and I've talked to a lot of the neighbors, and they said, hey, we just can't have this place open to trespass, so I boarded it up. And I said, well, that's very nice of you, you know, to spend your own money to do this, because there is no city department that will do that. They have a department that will demolish it, and they'll put you on a waiting list, supposedly, but when it gets done, I don't know what the priorities are. I think it's just who complains the most, and they don't have enough money to do them all. And even if they did have enough money to do all the vacant homes, because of the volume of fires that we have, there's new vacant homes created every day, you know, because of the fires. And occupied burns, that's a vacant home now. You know, so if we were having anywhere between 13 to 20 fires a day, you have potentially having 20 new vacant homes every day.
Who's this?
Those men here have kicked in money in union dues and legal costs and stuff like that to try to maintain the level of service. We're fighting the city to maintain service. You know, you'd think that they'd be wanting it as much as we do, but here we are fighting them to keep the level of service up to the people that are left in the city.
You're not fighting them. They're not fighting you. They just implement policy to destroy the city. And you just not stupid. You're not wise enough to understand that the reason they're stagnating you on policies that make sense to you that they should be implemented is because they're not trying to make sense. They're trying to make sense. C-E-N-T-S. Profit. And it's called genocide. It's called dilapidation of real estate to make what was once worth a lot of money become this valuable. See, it's called envy and jealousy. So you go buy your car that your neighbor can't afford, and you park your car at night, and you ain't did nothing to this sorry bastard, but you go in the house and go to sleep, and because of his envy and jealousy, he comes out and scratch your car up because he doesn't want to see you do good. Because he doesn't like the way you look, he doesn't like the way you walk, he doesn't like the intelligence, doesn't like your black skin, or whatever the purpose. You ain't got to do nothing to him. But he'll come in the middle of the night and scratch your car up because of propagandas and everything that's suggested subliminally to the minds of everybody that look at television. So you get a bunch of fascist bastards together that say if we deny them a source of sustaining themselves, all their real estate will dilapidate, and then we could buy this land real cheap. So all we'll do is don't give jobs to all the black men, and then we could have all their women, all their children, everything. And then the whole world sits around and watch this horrible stuff happen to us, and would have let us all die and go into concentration camps if it wasn't for a Tsar showing up with the Federation of the Starships that's getting ready to punish all you motherfuckers for your iniquity.
And that's when I talk about these people being dedicated and
Look at the green
not
lights.
only loving their job, but, you know, walking the
I
way.
hear people saying, they're not green, they're yellow looking. Go ahead, call them yellow if you want to. They look green enough for me to justify my proclamation that my sister the Green Goddess was gonna come here and deal with these crackers and all you other selfish, ignorant ass people on this planet. See this man facing that fire like that? It's gonna be a whole lot of faces in the fire like that. This right here is just because of the computer going through its dimensions of change. But see that face in that fire like that? If you don't buy your green light, perfume, cologne, whatever you want to call it, that's going to be your ass in there. Know that. Because this is what it's about. I am the prophet that was sent here to wake you all up. I've done that. And even though I've done it, you all still want to sit around and act like you're not going to be responsible for the sustainment of the representative that the sustainer sent. Go right ahead. Because when your asses is all burnt the fuck up and dead and not in my way, I'm not going to have to ask anybody for anything, because I'm going to have the whole earth the way it's been ordained in the universe, so your ass could get with the program when you walking around here without stains of painful burns all over your ass 99%. You could do the right thing to stay that way by giving the sun representative sustainment. And I'm not begging y'all asses no more. I'm giving you some good ass advice.
Well, if they don't just talk, I mean, they're putting their own money out. They're risking their lives.
It's gotten worse. It's not, I don't see it getting better. But when do you hit bottom?
If the media would agree to do this, to show an arsonist that was caught and convicted and going to do 17 years, he should tell his story on camera, and it should be like, please, if someone asks you to burn something, don't do it. I was asked to do that and I got caught, okay?
Oh, I'm sure that's going to make someone not do it. Okay, good advice. How about this? If that stupid ass advice right there is going to change the world, why don't we use that advice to the government and tell them, do not send FBI tanks to Waco, Texas and burn up innocent civilians for practicing their right to not want to be associating with freaking criminals. They know that our society was decadent. They had a right to not want to be a part of that if they wanted to. No one had the right to go in there and commit the crime of arson plus murder. And that's what the FBI did. So why don't you take your own advice and go tell it to the FBI? Because if the FBI is doing it, they are the persons that we should start with and give a notification that arson is not going to be tolerated.
Please don't light arson fires. You know, it caused someone to die. You know, a firefighter, a good man, a family man, a religious man.
Or over 40 people in a house, women, men, and children.
A well-loved man by everyone on the fire department. So this could be used as a deterrent to convince others that are thinking in that way. Although when you're desperate,
Didn't he look like he ate a lot of sweet potato pie and a lot of everything? And rest in peace, brother. But I'm just saying, that was a big dude. He looked happy too, so I ain't trying to be mad at him. He looked like he was one good guy, for real. He's just big. I know he done sat down to a whole bunch of sweet potato pies before he checked out.
you're not thinking like, oh, it could kill somebody. You're just desperate to get out of the neighborhood. There's drug people living on the street and dangerous criminals. I can't sell my house. No one wants to rent it. You know, what am I going to do? Am I stuck here? My kids got to live somewhere and be safe. You know, and
Not niggers. We got jail for them. Nigga live in the crack houses, or they should have shut up when they were slaves. We gave them those nice little shanty huts in the back, but no, they wanted to be free, so that's their problem, not mine.
I just can't stay in this neighborhood. What are they going to do? Walk away? In Detroit, they have. They've walked away. Is it because of their financials?